Welcome back to Grandpa's Time. Hey grandkids. Just taking a little walk in the woods today, and I thought I'd talk just a little bit about the impact you have when you go into the woods. I have a lot of younger guys will talk to me and they'll say, you know, I go to the woods all the time and I never see all the animals you see. I'm like, okay, let's go take a walk. Most of the time, they're making a lot of noise, and then they want to talk, or they want to unzip their pack, or they want to, I don't know, they're just not looking where they're stepping. You can still hear cars on the highway and back ways, and that's the problem. Is in our busy lives, most of us don't spend enough time in the woods to realize how loud we are and all the movements and things that we're doing that makes noise. So there's a tracker named Tom Brown. He's written a bunch of books, and he gets kind of spiritual about it, but he also talks about your presence in the woods is like throwing a stone in a pond, and the ripples that it makes, those circles that it makes as it goes out. And I'll notice it too when I first go to the woods after I've been away for a while, and I'll go out into the woods and I'll see the butts of deer because I'm making too much noise. It's pretty common. And it's okay, but when you're hunting and you only have a limited time to hunt, what can you do? So what I do is when I first get to the woods, especially when it's been a while, if I haven't been there yesterday or I'm not staying in the woods for a while and I just get to the woods, I'll just take a knee like I'm doing now. Just listen. And let the woods go back to normal. And I'll sit for about 10 minutes. And I won't think about work, and I won't think about family, and I won't think about what I'm trying to do out there. I'll just pay attention to my surroundings. Okay? What are you perceiving when you go out in the woods? Are you just tromping around and just hoping you run into something? Because perceiving is really important. One of the most memorable hunts for me was I spent 16 days, I know it was over 2 weeks, looking for a bear. And I was out in the woods, and I knew I was in a pretty good bear area, but I hadn't had any luck. And it was evening, and I heard a squirrel making a bunch of noise. You know, I don't know how far away it was, but I was just keyed into the woods, and I just took a knee and I sat down for a minute or two or 5 and just listened. And that squirrel's warning wasn't for me because I was far enough away, so I wondered what it was warning. Who, you know, what it was yelling at, because they'll yell at you. And I don't know, it must have been 5 minutes. A bear breaks the tree line and sniffing around and taking its sweet time, because there was still something about me being there that bothered it. But I was quiet enough, and I didn't throw my scent around, and I was paying attention enough to my surroundings to where I had a successful hunt. And I'll never forget that, because it was all about everything coming together and me being aware of my surroundings, me paying attention to where I was and only focused on what I was doing and not thinking about work and thinking about life and all the things that get in the way of the experience that you have in the woods, whether you're a bird watcher or you just enjoy listening and hearing things or seeing things, whatever the reason is. I mean, You know, we live in a beautiful place, a beautiful area. So what you're perceiving and the ability to perceive that is based on concentrating on where you are and what you're doing and focusing on that. When I am looking for antlers in the early spring, after a couple hours I'll start to notice my mind is wandering. And when my mind wanders, that's when I stop and eat lunch, or I stop and take a break, drink some water, look around and just listen. Sometimes I'll see something, sometimes I won't. But my mind needs a little break. So if you get like that when you're in the woods, where you're focusing on your walking and you're talking and what you're brushing against, because you don't want to leave your scent all over the place. That we'll talk about scent another time, but you know, you're concentrating and focusing on all these things. You know, your mind starts to get a little tired and you start to wander. Just stop and sit down and refocus. I'm headed back to civilization now, but I did want to discuss that. So perception is important, and your disturbance. How much am I disturbing this area versus what am I perceiving? And if all you're perceiving is deer butts, then you know that you are making too much noise and too much racket, and you're making too much disturbance. And animals will run if an elk runs off and the other elk see it, they'll just all start to run because they saw one of them running. So that's the tough thing for deer hunters. Sometimes the bigger bucks will be around other bucks and or other deer, and you can't make a stalk on, especially for bow hunters, and they have a hard time making a stalk on something because there's too many eyes. So I don't know. I hope this helps some. Just do what I do. Stop. As soon as you get in the woods, especially if it's been a while, stop. Sit down under a tree for 10 minutes and just relax and focus on what you're doing and pay attention to your surroundings, the sounds, the wind, all those things. Get your mind in the groove of the woods and away from all that noise you hear over there over the road. All right, well, I think I'm getting back to the truck just in time. It's starting to rain anyway. I hope this makes some sense, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.